Good evening, guys. This is Yashwanth Roy. Today, I'm going to be taking you guys through a procedure as to how to create and run a Facebook campaign. So to start off with, let's go to Chrome. On the browser field, you type in Facebook, which is facebook.com/, and you need to type in Ads Manager. So once you do that, it would take you to this page where you have all your campaigns. So here we are going to see how we are going to run a campaign for traffic. All right. So for that, on the left corner, if you could see my cursor, I'm taking it here to create. And when we press create, this loads, and you need to first go ahead and click on something which says create new campaign. So once you create a new campaign, it asks you for a campaign objective. So there are different types of objectives, which is awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, and sales. I'm not going to get into the details of how each works, but I'm just going to talk about traffic today. So let's hit the continue button. And once you hit the continue button, it takes you to another page, which actually is the campaign name. All right. Now, when you run a Facebook ad, there are two very important subcategories. One is called Boost Post, and the other one is called Ads Manager. And the Boost Post, it is basically for a campaign which just needs to increase their number of likes, shares, and comments. So this is basically, for a freelancer or an influencer who is, running a campaign, or you're going to be running a campaign for a freelancer. But today we are going to see, a much more complicated, a much more technical, and a more detailed version of campaigning, which would be called Ads Manager. Which is, in simple words, a much more complicated and a detailed way of running ads. All right. So once you click on the traffic button, it takes you to this page, which is basically called a campaign name. So campaign name is basically just, for our internal reference. It will not be published to your client, or nobody can get to see this. So let's talk about traffic campaign and name it Bangalore, or, let's just say test campaign 1. All right. So I'm just going to call it test campaign 1. And now if you actually come down, you see something called ad categories. Now, special ad categories, if you just read through it, it says declare if your ads are related to credit, employment, housing, or social issues, election, or politics. In simple words, you need to be a certified person to be doing running ads. So if you're a politician, or if you're offering jobs to somebody, or you're promising something to someone, that's when you choose this. But since we are not any of that, we're not focusing on any of that, we just leave it as no categories declared. The next one that we are going to be seeing is campaign details. And in campaign objectives, we are interested in traffic. So if you go to edit, we again come back to the same page that we started with. So we are just going to leave it at traffic, and we are going to continue. Now, A/B test, we leave this as off, and we will not get into details of this. We'll just leave it at off. And the next thing that you do is go ahead and click the next button. Now, once you do that, it goes ahead and shows you another option, which is called the ad set name. All right. Now, the ad set name is again for your internal purpose. You are not going to be worried about what this is. This is again, just for your reference. So we will call it a Bangalore ad campaign. All right. So that's the name of our campaign. It's called Bangalore ad campaign. Now, when you look under ad set name, we are looking into conversion. So conversion is nothing but where you want the traffic to be sent to. All right. So is that going to be a website? Is that going to be to your app, your messaging apps, or are you going to do a call traffic? So basically, sending traffic to your website is for people who want the customer to land on your website. So that is what we are going to be looking at. And what are we going to be, what are we focusing more on? We're focusing more on performance go. All right. So there are three types of running campaigns. All right. The first step of campaign is, objectives, ad sets, and ad copy. Now, under types of campaign, which is the first one we are going to look into, which is the objective. We are going to look into three important categories here, which is basically generating traffic, generating leads, which is also called lead generation, or we are going to focus on sales. Now, traffic is nothing but you want people to land on a particular page, and you just need, people to click on a form and it takes them to a landing page. Now, lead generation is for people who want to run a campaign which basically involves filling up a form, and the sales team will probably get that information and they can go ahead and upsell the information to the customer. Now, sales is nothing but you're doing a much more aggressive marketing where you already have your products listed on your website or wherever the landing page is, and you are going to go ahead and just make them buy the product. So basically, in simple words, when a customer goes ahead and makes a payment for something, whatever, irrespective of the price, how much ever it is, you are considering that as a sales campaign. Now let's come up to the next set, which is basically called the ad set. The ad set is it's subcategorized into 5 different categories, which is number 1, destination, we have budget, we have audience, placements, and performance goals. Now, let's not get into details of what these are into. Okay, but I want to go ahead and first talk about the screen here we are on right now. So we are not looking at number of landing page views, because we are basically into just generating traffic. So we want the number of link clicks. So we leave this as maximize number of link clicks. Now this cost per result goal, we leave it as optional. We don't touch this as of now. Now under show my options, again, this is not needed. Let's go ahead and look into this, which is actually budget and schedule. Now, if you see under the subcategory ad set, we spoke about destination. This is basically where the customer lands after clicking, a particular ad. So now the customer, for example, is on your landing page. Now we are going to talk about budget. Under budget, there are 2 different options, which is 1, daily budget, and 2, it's lifetime budget. Daily budget is nothing but you have an option to go ahead and set a fixed date. All right. Now, for example, you have to run the campaign 24/7 and for a specified time, normally 30 days. Now, lifetime budget is for people who want to specifically run an ad at a particular time. So we will, want to run a campaign not for 24 hours, 7 days a week, but we need it, at a particular time. So that's lifetime budget. For now, we are going to focus on daily budget. We will leave the budget as 800 rupees. We will set a start date as August 2nd, that's today. And we are going to set the end date as, but if you look at this, this is exactly 1 month later. All right. So Facebook by default, when you select daily budget, is going to set a minimum of 30 days. So we will not be looking at daily budget for now. So we go ahead and just click, exactly 7 days. And this is the time that it's going to start and the time that it's going to end. Now, this, if you see, it says the start date is in the past. That's because 7/26 is already passed. So you need to go ahead and make it maybe 2026. So let's see. So I'm just going to make it 2:26 a.m. All right. So just give me a second. Let's see. All right. So this is still here. We close this. Now, the next thing that you want to go ahead after budget is step number 3, which is basically your audience. Now, how do you, go ahead and categorize your audience? Now, this is where the next thing, audience actually is, under, you go ahead and have subcategories where you have options to, so under the audience, you have multiple sub details, which is basically core audience, number one. Number two is detailed audience. Then you have something called custom audience, a lookalike audience, and then we have open audience. All right. So now we are going to focus on core audience. Now, basically, what core audience is you are going to be focusing on a particular set of age group, where they are, which is basically location, and then you have the let's see, gender. All right. So in core, you basically are going to be looking at age, gender, and location. Under detailed, you're also going to be looking at demography. Then you have something called interests, and then you have behavior. In open audience, you don't set anything. You just leave the age, gender, and location, and that's your open audience. So here we are going to be seeing, for example, let's say we are running a campaign by default in India. So now I'm going to search locations. For example, let's say I'm going to select Bangalore as one of my locations. I'm going to click this. Now, also, let's say, for example, I want to focus a particular pin code, for customers or for businesses at a particular zip code. So I'm sorry, postcode. So my postcode is 560083. So if I put this, it shows me a set a location in Bangalore, but also focusing more on the number of, the zip code, the postcode that I've uh, opted for. So this is basically narrowing down your audience. Now, if you look on your right side, you have an estimated audience of 1 crore 45 lakhs to 1 crore 70 lakhs. That's a very big number to run a campaign for, which is why we also go ahead and choose a different location. Now, for example, in Bangalore, I would like to go ahead and search a particular area. For example, let's say I want to search people in Brigade Road, because my business is in Brigade Road. So I want to go ahead and choose, Brigade Road, Bangalore, Karnataka. All right. So this, if you see, gets added here under your search locations. Now, in and around Brigade Road or the other areas, I would want to go ahead and add another area called Richmond Road. Uh, for example, Richmond Road. There you go. All right. That would be Richmond Road, Bangalore, Karnataka. All right. So just in case you want to add another area, this is also close by, would be MG Road. So MG Road in Bangalore, Bangalore MG Road. So now if you see, our estimated audience size has, come down a little. All right. Now let's go ahead and close all of this. I don't want the thing. I don't want the local area. I don't want Brigade Road. Let's stick with Bangalore. All right. So now when I want my audience to be, located in Bangalore, all right, I'm going to click on Karnataka. All right. Now, if if you see, this age group is basically set from 18 to 65. But for example, a client needs a particular product which basically focuses on people with between the age group of 20 to maybe, let's say, 45 years old. All right, so we choose this. Now if you see, the estimated audience size has come down to 11 lakhs 90,000. All right. So that's 11 lakh 90,000 to 14 lakhs. So now we have, by default, it shows you need to click on all genders. Now, for example, I choose I want to only focus on the women between the age of 20 to 45, because my client wants to run a campaign, for a product which basically involves, women under that category in Bangalore. So now if you see, it narrowed this search to estimated audience size to 45 lakh to 53 lakh. Now, the next one that we focused on after core core audience is basically detailed targeting. So here, we go ahead and see, like we said, we discussed under detailed targeting, we have three options, which is basically demographics, interests, and behavior. Now, under this, we go ahead and click the option edit. And here we go ahead and, for example, I want women who are married. So I click on married women. All right, just married. So if you actually see, we got married, I'm getting married. All right, so let's take relationship status to be married women. We are also focusing on about to get married. Let's see if that comes up. All right, now let's say married. All right. So basically interest as well. So we basically are going to also look at marriage and weddings. Now, demographic, this is basically an option where you can keep adding the secret to running a successful campaign is basically just choosing the right detailed audience. All right. So you will not be wasting money if you run, an ad which basically targets your, targeted audience. So for now, let's go ahead and stick with, these two married couple, and we're talking about marriage. Now, once we do that, we go to the next option, which is called your placements. All right. Placements is nothing but where you want your ad to be placed. All right. Now, by default, Facebook gives you an option which is called Advantage Plus Placements, which is also recommended by them. I'll explain what that means in a little bit. But for now, let's click on manual placements. And under manual placements, this basically, goes more detailed into who needs to be, who you want to be targeting. Now, for example, you go ahead and under devices, it is, by default, under all devices, you click on all. Now, under this, you want your target audience to only have people who have a mobile or a desktop. Now, if I choose only desktop, now if you're running a call campaign, the customer is not going to be able to call from a desktop because most of the desktops don't have calling option. So if you're running a campaign only for calls, then you will make sure you uncheck the desktop and only check mobile. But now, since we are running a traffic campaign, people have access to both their phones and their desktops. So we are going to go ahead and only focus on both the devices. So we leave this as all devices. Now, coming down a little, you could look at something called platforms. Now, under platforms, you basically have your audience network. Where do you want the ads to be placed? Now, since Meta owns Facebook and Instagram and Messenger all together, so when you run a campaign on Facebook Ads Manager, you have an option to go ahead and run the campaign on all three platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So you want your audience network from all the four options. So we leave the platform as it is. Now, let's go ahead and close this. So coming down, you have another detailed version of where you want the placements to be, your ads to be placed. Now you have already gone ahead and chose the platform. Now we are going to see the placements. Placements is nothing but they're just going to go ahead and summarize where and on what page you are going to be showing your ads. Now, for example, everything is checked except messages. You don't want the customers to see anywhere on messages. So you're basically going ahead and checking on your feeds, your stories and reels, in-stream ads for videos and reels, and you're also going to go ahead and see apps and sites. So we leave all of this here. Let's click on show more options. So you also have a specific mobile devices and operating systems. Now, this is if you are running a campaign for a mobile company like Samsung, and you want to target not the Android users. You want to target the iOS users. So under this, you have an option to choose only iOS devices. So under this, if you choose iOS devices only, you can actually start running campaigns for, Android mobile companies like, Nokia, Samsung, MI, Xiaomi, and all of this. So this is basically to target, iOS device customers to switch from iOS to, Android devices. So here we are not, going detailed into this. So we will just leave it at all mobile devices. And brands safety and sustainability, we're going to leave it. Now coming back to the detailed targeting, demographics is done, language is done. We will leave this as we're just going to leave it at Advantage Plus. Now Advantage Plus is basic nothing but Facebook will automatically choose where your ad best suits. So basically this is an AI tool that they use, so that you don't have to rack your brains to go ahead and see what the issue is, and they will, go ahead and automatically do this. So here we go ahead and click the next option. So now comes your ad name. Your ad name is nothing but, again, this is for your internal reference only. You're just going to call it campaign Bangalore testing 1. So this is your campaign name. So identity, you just go ahead and choose partnership ad. You leave it as off. Now under Facebook page, if you have multiple pages that you operate or you handle multiple pages, you can choose from the drop down as to which page you want to run the ad for. I'm going to leave it at car part visit. Let's do that. And now the ad setup. So you are going to go ahead and create an ad. Now, if you already have a post that you have done in the past and you want to rerun a campaign, you go ahead and use existing post. Or now we don't have an option, so we'll just go ahead and create an ad. Now we are going to do a manual upload. We are going to do something called a single image or video. There is option for carousel and there's option for collection. Now, single image is nothing but you have one single image or one single video, which basically tells the customer what you are trying to do. Now, carousel is nothing but 2 or more scrollable images. Basically, a group of images is called a carousel. So we are going to focus on something called single. So next comes the ad creative. So this is where your ad copy comes into place. Ad copy is nothing but the blueprint of your ad. So here there is option for media. Now under media, I can either choose to add an image or add a video. For example, let's just say I have an image that I've already created. Let's just take something from my dump. I will, go ahead and choose this. Now, the original recommended size for running, for inserting an image is 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. So if you choose option, 1:1, it's going to zoom in too much. So the customer is not going to see the whole ad. So you will just leave it at original. And this is basically the settings that you need to do. You click on next. And here you will get to see the enhancements, the original creative, and the ratio. So we're not going to mess with the ratio. We're not going to, if you want to go ahead and add filters, you want to, beautify your page, you have a lot of options, which you can, go ahead and, just research on that a little later. So now we click done. So here we go ahead and have all the options. Now, if you look on the right side, you have a template as basically an ad preview to show how your post or how your campaign is going to look on the feed. Now, media is done. So where do you want all the placements to be? Stories, reels, apps, and sites. So you want the ad to pop up on the right column on the search results. So here, the Advantage Plus, Facebook automatically decides where they want to place your ads. So primary text is going to say, all right, let's say learn digital, learn digital marketing with Roy, right? That's my surname. So this is basically a primary text is nothing but your heading. So this is your description. Now your headline would probably give you something which says, let's say, for example, become an expert in 90 days. So basically, you're telling your audience that they have an option to learn digital marketing and they can become an expert in 90 days. So here you go ahead and scroll down, you go to destination. So the destination is nothing but your website. Here I'm going to go ahead and add my website, which is carpartswizard.com. All right. So here, if you have a URL that you need to, take the customer to, you just click the display link. All right. So you have also an option for browser add-ons, which is basically don't add a button. If you don't want customers calling you, you just don't click this option. If you want none, you just leave it at that. And under tracking, we are going to leave it as it is. Everything is done. It's verifying your edits, and you go ahead. And just before you go ahead and publish, there is an option here where you go ahead and review. So here you have all the options that you need, and I am going to go ahead and see if I can publish this. So under publish, you happen to have, so here you can go ahead and add, the currency, how much or when you want the ad to do, to go live. So I'm just going to close this. I'm going to go ahead and, do a test campaign. And this is pretty much it. Since this is basically a dummy campaign that we are running, I just want to go ahead and, just wanted to show you guys how to run a dummy campaign. But once you have all your matter ready, you have the material, you can just go ahead and follow the same steps, and you will be able to run a live campaign from Facebook Ads Manager. It was nice explaining you guys as to how to run a Facebook ad campaign for traffic. So we'll see you again in the next video. Thank you so much. And thanks for hearing me out, guys. Bye-bye.